our population is going to double in the next 25 years. I mean, you can basically guarantee that if Nigeria doubles, Lagos will triple or quadruple. If I'm going to spend the next 30 years of my life building something, I'd rather build it in a place where there's growth potential.
Meet Kenny Nwankwo, a real estate professional and the driving force behind Remax One Lagos.
Remax One Lagos is a franchise of Remax International, Remax LLC. So Remax LLC is actually the biggest real estate brokerage in the world. We're in about 115 countries.
Any African country?
Yes, we're big in South Africa. We're now in Nigeria. We're in Kenya. We're big in Egypt. We have some in Tanzania. So the goal for this next 10 to 15 years is to replicate what we've done globally here in Africa.
With a career marked by vision, passion, and a relentless commitment to excellence, Kenny has built a reputation as a trusted advisor, a savvy deal maker, and a champion for innovation in the property space. Whether it's closing multi-million-dollar deals or mentoring the next generation of real estate leaders, Kenny's impact is undeniable.
So we're going to a property in VI that I'm selling. It's an 11-unit building. So
What's the worth of the property, if I'm allowed to ask?
Yeah, the property's worth $2.1 billion.
Okay.
If
you sell it now, how much are you getting paid then? What's your cut?
If I sell it,
Our cut.
So if I sell it right now, realistically, I'll probably make $100 million.
Today, we'll explore Kenny's journey, his insights into the Lagos real estate market, and what it takes to thrive in one of the most dynamic cities in the world.
Hello and welcome to Chioma Meets. Today I'm meeting the CEO of Remax One Lagos, Kenny Nwankwo. If you haven't done so already, subscribe, like and comment. So, how old are you?
I'm 32 years old. I'm about to be 33.
Since you left school or university, or as you call it in the States, college, you've never had a job, you've always had your own business, or, why?
Okay, so now it might be a little bit different, but being when I was young, I wasn't well behaved.
Okay.
So I'm
still not well behaved.
Yeah. When I was young, it was kind of like from an arrogant standpoint, which I'm happy I was that way because it let me, because of the way I was, my constitution, I wasn't gonna wake up every day. I have a hard time working at something where someone can fire me. Since I left college or university, I haven't actually had a job. I've only done business since I came out. So I guess I would say I had a job. I worked for my parents. I was managing like some Airbnbs for my parents in Miami, and then got out of that. And then I started a trucking company with one of my friends from college. We did that. It was good, but I didn't like it. I mean, the money was good, but I didn't like it that much. Then I transitioned into the nightlife business. I started doing like parties, nightclub management.
I bet you like that.
A little bit of that.
Yeah.
No, not really.
Oh, really?
Well, it was good at first. But then when you realize how it actually works, I ended up realizing that I didn't want to do this. There's a lot of money in it, and there's a lot of growth potential, and you're selling vice. And so there's always going to be a market for vice. But I couldn't stand in loud nightclubs every night, and I couldn't be around drunk people for the rest of my life. I didn't see me doing that.
So when did you actually move back to Nigeria then?
So I moved to Nigeria in May 2022.
Had you always lived in the States? Were you born in the States, lived in the States all your life? Or?
No, I wasn't born in the States, but I was born in Lagos, Mataya Hospital in Ikeja, to be exact.
Be precise.
Yes, and I first moved to the United States in '92.
Okay. When
I was 2 years old, because my father worked for an oil company, and both my parents worked for oil companies at various times. But my father worked for an oil company, and we got moved to Miami originally in 1992. We moved back. I moved back and forth. I lived in Cameroon. My dad's job took him all around West Africa, around the Caribbean. And so that was kind of like my life for a while, but I haven't lived in Nigeria since 2001.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
Yeah.
How has it been since you got back and started Remax One Lagos?
It's been good because it's what I signed up for. I signed up for it. It's a challenge. I don't think it would be lucrative if it was easy, because everybody would be doing it.
For sure.
If I talk to 10 people and 7 out of 10 say it's hard, then I probably want to do it, because then I know there's actually a space, there's a gap there for me to create value. And it hasn't been easy adjusting to so many things. You know, there's so many.
Weather for one.
Yeah, the weather. It hasn't been too hard of an adjustment because I grew up in Miami, so Miami is pretty hot. But there's certain things you kind of have to like.
Like what?
You have to, like traffic, the road system, infrastructural deficiencies.
Food?
No, the food's been great. The food's the best part. Oh yeah, like I remember I came here, my friends said, let's go to like Taco Tuesdays. And I said, I didn't come to Nigeria to eat tacos. We got enough tacos in Miami. So like, there's a couple of things that, that we're missing here, but that's also where the gap is in Nigeria. That's why a lot of us are coming here, because the West is kind of capped out on growth. There's only so much growth you can do. This is the only country where you can make lots of money because you help people move money from one place to another, or because you bought 100 motorcycles, you deliver stuff, then you can become a billionaire. So it's the problems that create the opportunity.
So what does a typical day look like for you?
I would say a typical week for me is a couple of days of networking. I go to a lot of events. I have to meet with a lot of developers, because I've learned in Nigeria that you have to get a good relationship with developers, because we need each other. Obviously, they're the ones doing the builds, so we need them to sell properties, but then they need us to actually sell their properties, because it turns out a lot of the best developers, they're not the best at sales, because to run a sales team is like a whole another kind of business. I've kind of created a schedule for myself where I'm networking, a CEO thing. Like, again, like I said, I don't believe a CEO should be super hands-on on business. Your job is to make friends for your company.
So outside of work, outside of REMAX, what do you do?
Primarily what I do, I play flag football.
Oh, okay.
So I played football in college, high school, American football, yes, the real football.
Yeah, it's not the real football, but we're not going to go in there. We're not going to have this conversation.
I played the real football.
The fake football.
Yeah, the real football right there. So I played that from high school. I played since I was 16 years old, all the way to college or university.
Exactly.
We call it university as well, but we also call it college. So I played high school football, college football. Football is a huge part of my identity. I can't imagine not playing it in some capacity. So I'm very, very happy that when I came to Nigeria, my sister moved here a few years before me.
Okay.
And she started playing in a flag football league.
Okay.
It's called Shitsuke Flag Football League. Okay. It's founded by a guy called Bimbo.
Okay.
And I think he's...
Okay, so your sister plays that?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she was a female MVP 2 years ago. She's one of the best players moving in the league, so she's pretty good. So she played, I got her into football when we were young. So I play flag football for the Shitsuke, for the Titans. And Shitsuke, that's what I do on my weekends and some of my weekdays, actually. And that's pretty much all I do. I hang out with some people every once in a while. I don't party. I don't go out to clubs. I did too much clubbing over the last 4 years. For example, tomorrow, you got practice. And then I might practice again on Sunday. Come together, throw some football, win a championship, potentially win some games. It's like, that's what makes me happy outside of building my business.
Okay, so Kenny, what is REMAX One Lagos?
Okay, so REMAX One Lagos is a franchise of REMAX International, REMAX LLC. So REMAX LLC is actually the biggest real estate brokerage in the world. We're in about 115 countries.
Any African country?
Yes, we're big in South Africa.
Okay.
We're now in Nigeria. We came into Nigeria 8 years ago with some other partners, but we haven't really created a foothold in Nigeria yet. So that's our goal. My goal here is to make REMAX basically a household name in Nigeria. We're in Kenya, we're big in Egypt, we have some in Tanzania. So basically, Africa is the only part of the world where REMAX hasn't really created that foothold. And so the goal for this next 10 to 15 years is to replicate what we've done globally here in Africa.
Okay, so is this the only REMAX One in Lagos then?
Yes, the only REMAX One in
All
Lagos,
right,
yes.
okay. Perfect. So what are we building here?
So right here we have a 14 unit, 4 stories, 3 floors. 14 units. We've got 2 3 bedrooms on the first floor. And we got four two-bedrooms on each floor.
Okay.
Subsequent. So it's 14 units in total. This is gonna come with 24-hour electricity, water treatment. You're gonna be able to drink the water out of the tap. This community has a security 24/7.
Okay.
The building's also gonna have 24/7 security, CCTV, and all the works. The only thing and then parking for each unit.
How long have you guys been working on this project?
We've been working on this for a little bit under 2 years.
Why did you decide to start a Remax One franchise in Nigeria?
I'm not really into reinventing the wheel. The fact that Remax already has a tried and trusted name globally. I want to get into real estate, but more importantly, I wanted to get into international real estate. So the name Remax is a name that, especially in the US, Canada, which is where I'm from, so when I'm asking people to buy property, it's a lot easier to get them to buy with the Remax name than if I had named it like Kenny Realty. I'd be the same person, but it's not the same thing. I'm very, very strong on franchising because it costs a little bit more money, but I don't have to work extra hard to create the name recognizability. When you're a Remax franchisee, you have a network globally. So we have an internal network within Remax,
Okay.
and that allows us to basically automatically become an international real estate agent. So if I might never have been to Turkey, but I just need to get into our platform, contact some guys in Turkey that own a Remax over there, and I can sell you a house in Turkey without ever going to Turkey.
Why Nigeria though? Why didn't you do this in the US or do this in Canada?
Okay, so I'm very big on growth. There's the real estate industry in the US isn't growing, or it's growing but at a pedestrian rate. In Nigeria, we have probably the fastest growing real estate industry in Africa and one of the fastest in the world. And if I was gonna get into something, spend the money to buy the franchise, I'd rather do it in a place where there's growth potential. Our population is gonna double in the next 25 years. I mean, you can basically guarantee that if Nigeria doubles, Lagos will triple or quadruple. Bigger cities in Lagos will disproportionately grow more than the average. And so I just decided that it made perfect sense at the age that I am. If I'm gonna spend the next 30 years of my life building something, I'd rather build it in a place where there's growth potential.
So how do your customers find you? How does your clientele find you?
Right before I left, I had a yacht charter business. I just have a big number of,
Good network.
Yes, I have a big network and some HNI Nigerians, everyone's a pharmacist, a doctor, a lawyer, engineer, a lot of tech people. They have money, and then just even family. So especially when you're starting a new business and you're selling primarily, especially something that requires so much trust, it's usually good to start with your immediate network or semi-immediate, the people who know you or something. So word of mouth, just letting people know, because again, I wouldn't have done this if I didn't know that I could sell 10 in the first 2 years, real quick. I don't jump into things unless I kind of know that I could predict the outcome, yes. So that was it. So I have my network basically.
So you working by yourself or do you have a team?
Yes, I have a team. I have some agents. We have about a dozen agents.
Okay.
And official agents, and then we have another dozen affiliate agents who aren't exclusively with us.
How is it working with your mom as your business partner?
It's awesome. We complement each other. She's not my age, so there's a network that she has that I don't have. I mean, why would I know a 60-year-old, Nigerian person? I wouldn't know that. So we have that good tandem. She brings the experience, and my parents moved there in 2008, so she's been here for however many years that is, 15 years. She has her network. She understands how things work. She can tell me while I'm leading the company. She can give me advice on do's and don'ts. She brings a whole nother set of HNIs into our Rolodex, and I have the younger people. Maybe I guess I'll say I bring more energy and innovation to the business, and she brings the wisdom and the stability. I mean, there's something about being old that makes people trust you. Yeah, something about being mature.
Exactly.
Yes, and seasoned. That makes people. That's why I'm letting my gray hairs. I have one gray beard. I'm
I'm wearing a shirt today.
and I'm telling my barber don't cut that off. I need it. So I've realized that age is an advantage here in a way that it's not in the U. An American company would be youth.
But here it's like you're a little bit less trusted if you're young. We don't have as much faith in young people in this country. So partnering with my mom helps us be like a 1-2 punch business-wise.
And how long does it take to obtain a real estate license?
In the U.S.? Yeah, in the U.S., it'll probably take you about 18 months, give or take. A lot of people even fail the exam the first time. And then when you get the license, you have to work under a brokerage. They have 2 tiers. There's a real estate agent and there's a real estate broker. An agent is underneath a broker. A broker had to first be an agent, then pass another test, and then pay another fee to be a broker. And so agents work under brokers, and for you to be able to conduct real estate transactions in the US, you have to be working under a broker.
What training did you have to go through with Remax One before starting this franchise in Lagos?
So when you buy a real estate franchise of Remax, and I'm sure this applies for most of the American franchises, I had to go through the broker owner training course.
Okay.
So I flew to Denver. You could do it remote, but I thought it would be better because I wanted to get a hands-on experience and I wanted to meet the top brass of like kind of Remax, because I was going into like the biggest real estate industry in Africa, in the global South, where the biggest real estate like economy. And I felt like it was very important to get to know them and get that kind of rapport. Because where we're trying to go, where I'm trying to take it, we're gonna need their support. So I had to go to Denver. It's called Broker 101. So I took it. It lasted for about a week, and it was very, 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 it was like 40 hours in 1 week.
Intense.
It was very, very intensive. And it was with fellow franchisees, some people from other countries, mostly from the US, from all around the country. We had some people from South America, but it was very intensive, and we learned all about Remax from the beginning to the end. Again, one of the benefits and a downfall at the same time is that I'm allowed to do things as a Remax in Nigeria that a Remax in the US probably wouldn't be able to get away with doing. But that's also because it's not illegal here, or they know they have to give us a little bit of leeway because we're trying to kind of grow here. They have to let us kind of do our thing, yeah.
What do you think has been most challenging for you since you started Remax One Lagos?
The most challenging, I would say, and this is one of the big problems, I think it's a tie. It's a tie between the regulation and the fact that anybody can wake up and say they're a real estate agent. That's been a big challenge. Then the other challenge is the cost of money. You get to deal with a lot of people who you end up realizing that they don't actually have a clue about real estate. Maybe they have an uncle with a land. And my uncle's selling a land for $10 billion, and that now you're an agent. In my opinion, if you're a real estate agent and a professional, you should know a good amount of real estate law. What's legal, what's illegal, whatnot. I realize a lot of people don't know that. So that's kind of been a challenge, dealing with the diaspora clients that I have and the lack of trust. So that's one challenge. The other challenge is the cost of money. Money's expensive in Nigeria. So in the property business, the reason why agents in America and UK and Canada can make good money is because the average person who has a decent job can get cheap debt. 3%, 2%, 4%. I mean, if you charge 5%, that's considered high in the US. In Nigeria, if you got a 5% mortgage, you'd throw a party and be happy.
Kenny, you're really great at building relationships with people. I know this, I guess, personally, but how important do you think building relationships are for entrepreneurs?
It is completely and utterly indispensable. The health of your business is based on like the health, like your relationships. Every once in a while, you might have a product or a service that's so unique that nobody has a choice but to like patronize you. Like, for example, I'm sure if you own Google right now, everyone has a deal with you to a certain degree. But when you're selling kind of services and products that are not that unique, the health of your business is very, very, very dependent on your relationships. Even outside of my own industry, suppliers, your relationship with suppliers, your relationship with distributors, your relationship with customers, your general relationship of your company with the public
definitely, and especially in Nigeria, your relationship with lawmakers, politicians, government officials, a bad relationship with the government in Nigeria can tank your business completely. Every business that I've ever had has involved selling a service or a commodity or a product. I like people until like
Dope.
maybe like 7 p.m.
Okay.
And then my social battery finishes, but I like people. So that makes it a lot easier. And if you're one of those people who's not extroverted, you definitely want to practice and hone the extroverted side of you.
So where are you taking me now?
Okay, so we're going to a property in VI that I'm selling. It's an already existing building.
Okay.
It's about 12 years old. It's an 11-unit building in VI, like in one of the key locations in VI, very close to Intercontinental Hotel. So
What's the worth of the property, if I'm allowed to ask?
yeah, the property is worth 2.1 billion
Okay.
naira. So it's 11 units, 10 3-bedroom units, and 1 4-bedroom penthouse on the top.
Okay.
And each of the units are 180 million,
Okay.
and the penthouse is 300 million.
300 million. Have you sold any of the properties?
Well, no, because I've had a number of offers, but they want to sell it as a whole. They can sell it piecemeal, but they don't want to deal with that. They want one big buyer to buy the whole thing. It's a great property. It's currently being rented by a Chinese company right now. So the entire building is rented by a Chinese company. So whoever buys it is going to buy with the tenants.
Okay.
In my experience, those are the best buildings because you already know you're making money. So you buy it, whatever the rent that was already collected, they're gonna take that out of the price, and then like within the year. So if someone buys it now, they obviously won't get any rent money because January already happened. But next January they're getting paid, and or they get
if you
kicked
sell it now, how much are you getting paid then? What's your cut?
If I sell it,
Our cut.
so if I sell it right now, realistically, I'll probably make 100 million.
How are you sending prospects for this particular property, especially as you're selling everything as one?
Yeah, so that makes it a little bit harder. I like to work on creating like groups. So I might talk to someone that's interested in buying 5. And there's another person interested in buying 3. And there's another person interested in buying whatever amount. And if I can get a bunch of people who are willing to buy it together, I can create an SPV. They'll buy it together. And then also I'm in the property management business. So the goal is to sell it. Then whoever I buy it from, whoever I sell it to, I'll get the contract
To manage.
to manage the building.
Okay. So Kenny, you were on Love and Hip Hop Miami. Do you think that's influenced you in any way?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely exposed me to a larger audience. It was very, very critical for my yacht charter business, and it helped my party promotion, but granted, and it exposed me to a lot of things.
So it definitely helped your business grow, would you say?
Okay, that was the only reason I did it.
If someone came to you and said, listen, Kenny, I'm thinking about moving to Africa, I'm thinking about moving to Nigeria, I want to set up a business, what do you think I should do? What advice would you give?
Well, my advice would be very, very dependent on the business that they want to do.
Okay.
And I'd first ask them what their appetite for discomfort is. And when they answer those 2 questions, that's where my advice would be. Come to Nigeria first, spend like 2 months, find out the kind of appetite that you have for the whole thing, find out how much it means to you to have that business. Because I notice a lot of people, they come here and within 18 months to 2 years, they're running back to London, or they're running back to Toronto or New York because they realize it's like they say in Nigeria, kakina bileda. So you have to come back, yeah.
Oh yeah, you have to come with the mindset to really get stuck in.
Yes, but you have to have a pioneer mindset. So you got to come with that mentality. You have to be mentally tough.
So you've got now Kenny at 32, right? What's Kenny at 42? What does it look like?
Kenny at 42 has one of the leading real estate companies in Nigeria. I have a couple other businesses. Remax is just the most exciting one that everybody cares about. But I have a couple other businesses. I'm more politically involved, but definitely building Remax, helping Remax create a foothold in Nigeria and then West Africa.
Thank you, Kenny. And thank you so much for spending the day with me. I've literally taken your whole day It's been a pleasure looking around your properties, and I'm really looking forward to seeing where Kenny Nwankwo is in the next 10 years.
Thanks for having me. And I also look forward to seeing where Kenny Nwankwo is in the next 2 years. So I'm excited. Thanks for having me.
And if anybody wants to contact you, how do they do that?
They can contact me on my Instagram. It's Kenny Nwankwo, except the last O is a 0 instead.
Okay.
On Twitter, the exact same. Instagram, LinkedIn, Kenny Nwankwo. And you can reach me at remax1lagos@gmail.com. Any inquiries you can also get on our website. Our website is remax1lagos.com, and you can go on there and inquire about anything and any of our services.
Thank you very much for watching, guys. As you can see, it's getting dark. I've literally been with Kenny for the whole day. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you want to see more of Chioma Meets and you want to meet more of the CEOs, entrepreneurs, founders, business people that I'm speaking to, please subscribe, comment, and like. Hope to see you next time. Bye-bye for now.